For more on the terror attack there, I'm joined by Cole Bockenfeld. He's an expert on Middle East affairs and conflicts in North Africa. Welcome back to the show. You know, Tunisia is a former success story of the Arab Spring. It's where it all began. What are we seeing here?
Well, I would caution on calling it a former success story. I mean, I definitely think it's the best hope for the region, and I still think it's the best hope. But this is a huge setback. This is a real setback to the security of Tunisia and especially to the economy of Tunisia. I mean, the attack today was very much directed at the tourism sector to really deal a blow to the economic sort of opportunities created by that sector, which is really key to moving forward and ensuring the transition can succeed there.
And this happens after the terror attack in March on the museum there, again, targeting tourists, another blow to the economy. Talk about the significance of not only hitting tourists, but civilians in this case.
Yeah, I mean, it's been clear that you know, this is a sort of terrorist attack that isn't directed at the government, isn't necessarily sectarian motivated. It's really directed at sort of inspiring fear among Westerners coming to Tunisia, and sort of Tunisia opening up to the world and becoming sort of more liberal, tolerant, democratic society. I think that's clearly the target of these attackers, and clearly trying to stop the progress the country has made.
We'll talk about that progress. Take these two attacks out and talk about what's been happening inside the country. Was it progressing, or have there been, you mentioned setbacks?
Right. I mean, I think it's definitely fair to say that of all the countries we've watched over the last few years, Tunisia has made significant strides in its transition, but the vast majority of those have been on the political track. You know, passing a very balanced, very progressive constitution, forming a sort of unity government, having successful, peaceful elections, having a new government in place. They've made a lot of progress on those fronts. Where they've really struggled to meet the sort of demands of their citizens around the economy and creating jobs and meeting sort of the expectations of the growing sort of youth bulge there, but also on the security front, you know, dealing with a new challenge that they haven't really had to face historically. I mean, this is a new phenomenon in Tunisia to have these countries on these sorts of attacks on its home soil.
We're not sure yet of who is taking responsibility for this attack. What are you thinking, though? Could this be a domestic, homegrown attack, or are we looking at possibly outside forces here?
It certainly could be. I mean, one of the things Tunisia has struggled with is frankly, the border with Libya, and that there have been a lot of Tunisians that have either gone to Libya to fight or to train and then have returned. There's been, of course, a lot of coverage about Tunisians that have traveled to Iraq and Syria to fight. But there remains a real threat there at home that some of those that are motivated on this kind of extremist thinking will turn their attention toward their own country. And I'm afraid that's what we could be seeing with this attack today.
Cole, about 30 seconds left. This happens during the holy month of Ramadan.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes this even more tragic. I mean, this month, of course, is intended to be a time of reflection and prayer and you know, a real devotion to sort of the tenets of the faith. And I think it underscores, you know, the sort of danger that there are a lot of extremists who seek to pervert and promote sort of an extreme version of that faith. And especially doing it during this month, I think, is a real blow.
All right, Cole Bockenfeld, as always, we appreciate your insight. Thank you so much for joining us.